Not the sports news is Romy Titus and her guests covering the world of sport from football to athletics, cricket, rugby, UFC, and Dambe wrestling. Live, weekdays on omniaudio.africa, 8:30 a.m. Central African Time. Romy Titus is South Africa's leading face and voice on all the sports stories you want to hear about and talk about. Also live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Omni Audio Africa.
So we have to talk about, obviously, what happened out in Rabat, Morocco and Nigeria in the final of the women's AFCON, and what a match it was, because at some point I was like, this could go either way. Morocco in the first half really strong, and then Nigeria go into the change room, and I don't know what the coach says, but they come out there like demons to be able to clinch. Mission X. Dorcas Koki joins me on the line. She's out in Nigeria. Dorcas, I guess I have to start off by saying congratulations. Your women's team is the best on the African continent.
Thank you very much for the congratulations. I think we deserved it. We've earned it. It was a really, really nerve-wracking moment in that final where Nigeria trailing 2-0. But somehow, I don't know what happened. I don't know what the coach said at halftime. The girls came back and it was like fire all over again. You're going to see them. They acted like the Falcons that they were. They clawed their way. The grit that they showed was everything. So, we're officially the best team. It wasn't like it wasn't known before now, but we're officially, again, the best team on the continent. And in fact, the best team in the world. So, we are 10 times.
I guess spoken like a true Nigerian, because yes, we can now officially say that the Super Falcons have won it 10 times all in all. But it was tough. Yeah. You know, would you say the gap between obviously the Super Falcons losing, being queens of Africa, to then regaining that status again, and in that gap, what was different? Why lose it? Was it a change in coaching, in team, in grit? We keep on using this rebuilding, right? Because if you take a look at South Africa, there are newer players coming into the fold. The same with Nigeria. Okay. But in that gap, what was different? You know, what did Nigeria need to go through, need to learn in order to reclaim the glory?
Oh, well, I must confess, it wasn't much. I think it was just the fact that we needed something new, right? So before now, we had Randy Waldrum, the American. Yeah, you would say he performed a couple of times pretty well. At the World Cup in New Zealand and Australia, we saw what he did. He took the Falcons to the next round, where they lost out to England as well via penalties, of course. So that was pretty much, you say, a very good performance. But then we're bringing in players. It was like a test period, because we're phasing gradually the older legs and bringing in new legs to understand what it means to play for the Super Falcons. Oshola, after the World Cup, she didn't get to play much games as well. And then you could see Alozie, you could see, the team started getting a certain bit of form in them, and the players began to do great things in their clubs. It wasn't like they weren't doing things before, but they translated their club form to the national team. And after we lost the last AFCON in 2022, unfortunately, we finished fourth. South Africa won it. And it happens sometimes, because we've lost it twice as well. Equatorial Guinea winning it twice, and South Africa all over again. So it happens. But then when you lose something, when you think that you were the best, you have to fight your way back. And that was what they did this time around. The mission was obvious to everybody that we have to go back there and reclaim, in quotes, I'm doing air quotes now if you can see me, in quotes, our entitlement, basically, because you can't win it 9 times and not be entitled to the competition, if you ask me. So they had to go there. They had to find their way through. So I think it was, first off, investment, because it's not like we are still getting that investment at this point in time, but I think the NFF understood that the most decorated national team in Africa is the Super Falcons, and in Nigeria as well, the Super Falcons. So either way you look at it, you've got to pump in more money. You've got to ensure that you keep them excited for the next competition. And the girls knew the mission. They understood that they are not just doing it for themselves, they are doing it for the country as well, who has been backing them for like ages, right? So I think when you lose something, it gives you that hunger to go back again to get it. So that was what 2022 did for the team.
I like what you say in terms of doing it for the country, right? The NFF also realizing and knowing what it is that they need to do for the most decorated team, as you put it. But take me through, I mean, just after that win and when they lift that beautiful trophy and on the ground, though, what are Nigerians today happy? You know, what was the streets like? What was the mood like? Where were you, Dorcas?
Well, I was on duty. I was running commentaries for the game, and I understood my job description that at that point in time I had to be a neutral. I had to be a neutral. So in my heart of hearts, I was excited. Like in my heart, I was screaming and I was shouting. But I thought in my heart.
Yeah.
But
Your heart's voice.
exactly. But on the mic, I was like, "Oh yeah, great comeback, amazing comeback." But immediately after the game, my colleagues ran into the studio and it was chaos. It was the atmosphere was everything. It was similar to the AFCON where Nigeria defeated South Africa via penalties, of course, and it was crazy, generally speaking. So the streets are elated. Everybody got to hear it. Market and people who don't even football.
Yeah.
It was that excitement because they needed something to get them excited. And in recent times, the male haven't done it. So the Super Falcons are doing it every single time. And the way they did it, I think that was what sent the story out there. So it was it is still crazy to this day, till this morning as
I'm
we
glad.
speak. It is, yeah, it's pure chaos everywhere.
What is being planned, though, as the Super Falcons come home and bring that? Is there going to be a parade through the streets? And I'm sure even on touchdown, that airport is going to be chaotic.
Yes, from what this morning, I think they'll be landing in Abuja today, and there will be a parade for them, and they are going to be hosted by the president. So that's like amazing. Yeah, it's going to be a grand entrance for the Super Falcons. 10 times is no mean feat. The most decorated national team, once again, not just on the continent but in the world, because they have just usurped the United States, who have won their own continental title 9 times. I think China as well, and Brazil have about 8. They're about so
Okay.
it's not fit. So I think. They need the heroes or heroine welcome if you want to look at it that way. So yes, the president will be there'll be a parade also in Abuja. Unfortunately, I can't go because I'm in Port Harcourt. But yeah, I'll feel it from here.
Yeah, you
So,
feel sure you'll be able to see it. I mean, television screen streaming, technology today is amazing. I'm sure that we'll catch a
yeah.
glimpse of it on this side of the world as well. But with all of that said, does this team come back to Nigeria as a collective, or do the other players who have other who are on duty actually leave the club from there?
From what I understand, everybody comes down first to Nigeria because when the presidency is hosting you, I guess you all have to come back. A collective kind of duty because it was a mission. So since the mission has been fulfilled, you touch down. You've got to at least show some respect, I think, to the fans who stood up for you, who stood up for you, who supported you all the way, even if some didn't, but it's all good. So yeah, I think all of them are back here. We'll be back here. We'll be, part of the parade, the presidential host. I think everybody will be coming back here
As a
first.
collective. That's nice to know. Let's talk about the money, Dorcas, because I think yesterday, somewhere before that final, day before, sorry, we get to hear some news in terms of bonuses, what they are, And I always think, why do we have to dangle carrots, just before a final? I always think, like, administratively, can't we just all get our contracts, our money, our bonuses, all of that talk out of the way? Money is a motivator. I can't say it's the only reason why the Super Falcons are now 10 times winners of a WAFCON, but money is a motivator. So in terms of this million USD, does it all go to the players? What is the word on the ground?
So before the final, the presidency came out with a release because before now, we also heard that the girls will be owed match bonuses and allowances dating back to 2022. So before the final, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through, of course, the National Sports Commission chairman in Sheodiko, he actually put out a release that the girls first are entitled to 30% of the winning bonus given to the NFF. So that is going to be what they're going to be earning, 30% of that money. And everything owed them has been signed. Everything has been released to the NFF to give up to the girls. So I think money wouldn't be a problem, but wait and see what the NFF would do, because the presidency have spoken. Money is out there now. So everybody have got to get what is entitled to them. So but also we heard that the everyday allowances for $100 wasn't paid at the point in time. So if you calculate it, for a player, you get $3,500, and that is also included. So I think, give or take, each player should be going home with about $16,000 or thereabouts. So presidency has spoken, the NFF have got to listen, or else you'll be in trouble, I guess. So in Africa, we're used to the fact that money has always been a problem for our players, and that shouldn't be it. It's funny to me how we knew that we're going to participate in the competition, and then it's only natural that you have a conversation with the players. So how are we going to do this? Is it going to be a percentage taken by the players, or how do we? You have this conversation way beforehand, and not having this back and forth every single time. But since the presidency has spoken, I would like to think that it will go smoothly this time.
You know, you raise a valid point there in terms of we know where we're going. We know AFCON's coming. We know it's coming next year again, right? So have the conversations before, everybody boards a plane. And it is annoying because I always think instead of women's football now being in lights, it's everything else that didn't go according that then makes headlines, right? The president has spoken. So the Football Federation needs to listen. But it's another thing if the Football Federation does not have that money, So they could also sit back and go, yes, we're supposed to give money, which we don't have, that we're supposed to get where, Mr. President? So can you bail us out?
The presidency, I think, while they were speaking about that, made available some money. So the budget, like I said, was drawn, and the money, I think, will be released or has already been. And I also do know that something will come out of the visit today, of hosting the girls. So it's not left for the NFF to do the needful. How much are the girls going to get from the money the presidency gave to the NFF? Because from what we know, when it comes to women's football, the NFF will tell you don't have the money, right? So the presidency will tell you, we have the money, we'll give it to you, because the girls need to get their money as well. And the winning whatever that will be given to the NFF by CAF, that money, the girls are entitled to 30% of it. So we now know that. So from now on, I think we have to keep our eyes on it, and the NFF will have to ensure that this money get to the girls, or else, or hell will break loose. I don't think the presidency would appreciate that. After making release, and then you don't want to give the girls what they're entitled to, then there'll be a problem.
There is going to be a problem, but for me, it just steals away from all the glitz, all the glamour, all the glory that you were supposed to be heaping on the women who come back with this trophy, right? And that's a little sad for me, because come the next WAFCON again, Dorcas, I hope we don't have the same conversation, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, can you remember when we spoke about it and they were supposed to get 30% and government made the money available? So it is something I think, it's not just Nigeria. We can talk about South Africa and the same things that unfold, Zambia, for example, as well. But I do think today should be about the celebration of these women, what they were able to do. And if you can, please ask the coach, what did he say in the change room at halftime? Because I believe whatever he said changed the face of the game, because they came out like they were demon possessed, meaning to win it. And they then went ahead and hoisted that trophy. It was spectacular, even spectacular to share it with you, chat it through with you. So congrats to you too, Dorcas, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to join you guys on the show and talk about first women's football and, of course, Nigeria. So thanks for having me.
Let's hope that next year, come WAFCON, it's the other way around, where Nigeria takes fourth place and South Africa hoists that trophy. But at the end of the day, may the best team win. Dorcas, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're cool. Thank you. She's gone. Oh, where to? This camera. Or back in here. And that is it, just chatting to Dorcas, who is proudly Nigerian today, and I don't blame her, because where Nigeria ended off last WAFCON 2022 in fourth place is where South Africa now sit in fourth, and the Super Falcons are now richer. 30% of that prize purse going into their pockets, and then also monies outdated, not paid, also now being paid to the players, and the government, the president of the country actually saying, make sure that these women get what is due to them. So now we watch, wait and see as they get the heroes' welcome back in their country today.